What if the greatest sin you ever committed felt exactly like love? Not lust, not obsession, but love. Raw, pure, undeniable. What if that love gave you something beautiful, but came with a lifetime of silence? My name is Evelyn Mae Sanders. I'm 74 years old now, living a quiet life in a small town outside of Asheville, North Carolina. But my story doesn't begin here. It begins in 1968, in a dusty town in southern Kentucky, where summers smelled like honeysuckle and winters came early. I was 19 then, the youngest daughter of 5. My dad owned a small general store off Main Street, the kind that sold everything from penny candy to shotgun shells. And my mom, well, she ran the house like it was a military base. We lived in a modest 2-bedroom house with a vegetable garden out back and a chicken coop that woke us every morning before sunrise. Sundays were for church, sweet tea, and pot roast. You didn't miss service, not even when you were sick. My daddy used to say, God notices the empty pews. Everything changed when our church got a new pastor. The previous one, Reverend Phillips, had been older than dirt, kind but slow, always coughing into his handkerchief. The new guy, Reverend Anthony Cole, 30-something, tall, charismatic. He played the guitar during youth group, laughed easily, and preached like his heart was on fire. The old ladies loved him. The young ones couldn't stop staring. And I stared too. The first time he looked directly at me, really looked, it was like someone lit a match in my chest. It happened during Sunday service. I had arrived late, slipped into the back pew, and looked up just as he was welcoming the congregation. Our eyes met, and I swear, the world stopped spinning for a second. After that, I found every excuse to be at church. I helped with the bake sales, youth retreats, Bible study. Any chance I had to be near him, I took it. One Saturday afternoon, we were setting up decorations for the annual church barbecue in the fellowship hall. I was standing on a chair, trying to hang red, white, and blue bunting, when he walked over and said, "Careful, that chair's wobbly." I smiled and said, half joking, half hoping, "Would you catch me if I fell?" He laughed. But there was something behind his eyes. Something he tried to bury, right then and there. For the next few weeks, he kept his distance. Wouldn't be alone with me. Barely spoke unless it was in a group. But I'm not one to give up easily. The 4th of July fair came to town. Food, trucks, fireworks, country music, the whole deal. I went with a couple of friends, and there he was, walking alone by the craft booths, out of uniform, in jeans and a flannel. Just a regular guy. I left my friends and followed him down a quiet side path near the river. I called his name. He turned, surprised. I told him I'd never seen him like that before. He said, "Sometimes I forget who I am when I dress like this." I said, "You never stop being who you are. But you're also a man, not just a pastor." That night, under the faint sound of the fair in the distance, we kissed. It wasn't long, but it was everything, and it was the beginning of the hardest year of my life. We started meeting in secret. There was an old cabin in the woods, down by the back road near my uncle's old property. No one went there anymore. The roof half collapsed, windows broken. It became our place, our world. He told me things no one else knew, that he'd gone to seminary because of his parents, not because of God. That sometimes, when he preached, he felt like a fraud. That I made him feel like he belonged to something real. And I told him I loved him. It wasn't lust. It wasn't rebellion. It was real. One rainy afternoon in August, with the sound of thunder in the distance, we crossed a line we couldn't uncross. We made love for the first time. It was nervous, gentle, and completely wrong, but also right in every way I understood at 19. After that, our meetings became more intense. We talked about running away, about moving to Nashville. He could get a job teaching philosophy. I'd find something. We'd live small. We'd live free. But then, I missed my period. At first, I told myself it was stress. Then nausea came. Then the soreness. I didn't need a test to know. I just knew. When I told him, he went pale, like I'd slapped him. He stood up, paced, and said, "I need time. I have to think." I waited. He promised he'd come back with a plan. But the next time we were supposed to meet, he didn't show up. Days passed. Then a week. Then 2. I heard through the grapevine that he had left town. Called away on mission, they said. Helping a sick cousin, said another. I got a letter 2 weeks later. No return address. Just $100 and a single paragraph. I'm sorry. I couldn't face it. I pray for you both every day. Please forgive me. And that was it. I left, shortly after. Told my parents that Aunt Sarah in South Carolina needed help recovering from surgery. Moved in with her. Told no one I was pregnant. Hid it as long as I could. When the baby came, I named him Joseph. He had Anthony's eyes. I told people I was a widow, that Joseph's father had died in a car crash. It was easier that way. Easier than saying, the father of my son was a pastor who disappeared. I raised Joseph on my own. Got a job at a diner, sewed at night, lived quietly. He grew up into a good man, smart, kind, faithful. When he got his first real job at a local bank, he took me out to dinner, steak, potatoes, and cherry pie. He told me, "Everything I am, I owe to you." And I almost told him, but I didn't. Years later, he got married, had kids of his own, started volunteering at church. I saw so much of Anthony in him, the smile, the stubbornness, even the way he played with his son's hair when he thought no one was watching. One day, I searched, quietly, found out that Anthony had transferred to a small church in Idaho. Still preaching, still hiding. I wrote him a letter, told him everything, included a picture of Joseph with his son. I didn't ask for anything, not money, not reconciliation, just truth. He called me. We spoke for an hour. He wept, said he'd thought about us every day, that he wanted to meet Joseph, that maybe it wasn't too late. We planned to meet. After Easter, he would fly down. But before that day came, he died. Massive heart attack. While preaching, they said. Collapsed at the pulpit. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't tell Joseph. I still haven't. Some truths serve no purpose, in the open. Some secrets become their own kind of grace. Joseph is now a father, a good one. And I know, in every bone of my body, that I made the right choice. But still, some nights, I whisper Anthony's name, just once. And I pray that somewhere, somehow, he forgave himself. And maybe I have too. If this story moved you, share it, comment below, subscribe for more real stories from real lives, and tell me, where are you watching from? I'd love to know how far this truth traveled.